Brian Flores is absolutely raving about Dallas Turner ahead of the Week 1 game versus the New York Giants. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be diving into what Flo had to say about the first round pick, and then also later on today's show in the second half, 5 players who need to step up this weekend versus the New York Giants. And for those 5 players play well, should find ourselves celebrating a Victory Monday here on the channel. But hey, if you guys want the Vikes to beat the Giants this weekend, don't jinx it. Hit that thumbs up icon. You don't want to be sitting there in the third quarter. Vikings are down 17-10, and you watch this video and you're just sitting there saying, damn, did I like that kid's video? I should have done that. So hit that thumbs up icon, like today's video if you guys want the Vikings to catch a victory this Sunday. But the great news for the Minnesota Vikings comes from the defensive coordinator here, as he is raving about Dallas Turner, saying this: very athletic, very smart, tough, nothing but positives, quite honestly. I think one of the good things for him is he's in a room with guys like Jonathan Grenard, guys like Andrew Van Ginkel, and he's like a sponge with that group as far as extracting information and finding ways for him to apply some of those things with his skill set. And I think that's a great point by Flo, because this is not a situation where Dallas Turner, first-round pick, all the hype, all the expectations are on a 21-year-old to step in and be that powerhouse, to be that main, edge rusher on this team. He doesn't need to. He's probably not even going to get the first reps this Sunday. It's going to go to Grenard. It's going to go to Van Ginkel, and then he will obviously rotate in once Van Ginkel, maybe he's dropping in the coverage. Maybe they run all 3 of them on the field at the same time. And again, it's going to be prototypical Daniel Jones. You got to pick and choose who's coming. Dallas Turner, he'll get a lot of one-on-one opportunities this upcoming weekend. But I do want to get you guys this quote from Adam Patrick. Works for the Vikings Age. I was reading his article earlier today, and I absolutely love this. He said, last year, with Flores calling the plays, check this, the Vikings blitzed on 51.5% of the opposing team's dropbacks, highest in the NFL. Turner is going to get a ton of opportunities to bring down the quarterback this season, and if he makes the most of these opportunities, he has a shot at becoming one of the most dominant rookies in Minnesota history. I love that from Adam Patrick. Had me damn near ready to run through a brick wall there. But the Vikings edge group specifically here, you really do have a 3-headed monster in my opinion, and I would not be shocked if, let's just say, 50% or 60% of the snaps this Sunday where you see all 3 of these guys lined up out there on the field, because one actually key note on Dallas Turner, he dropped into coverage a whole lot this past season at Alabama, and obviously we know Van Ginkel will dive into him a little bit more here in a second, but he's extremely versatile. Then also Jonathan Grenard, man, he had a very underrated year this past season. Now, the sack numbers are obviously what everybody wants to look at, where he had 12.5 sacks, and that's great, and only 15 games played. But the stuffs also, and stuffs are anytime in a run play, you stop the ball carrier either at the line of gain or behind the line of scrimmage, very similar to TFLs on that one. But he had 52 tackles, actually did have 2 PBUs, so he's got a little bit of ability to drop in coverage just a little bit. Didn't do it a whole lot for the Texans this past season. But again, key word with Flores, versatility. And the dude whose name should probably be in the definition under versatile, or a versatile player, Andrew Van Ginkel, man. His stats are ridiculous. Just the fact that he is able to put up 6 sacks, an interception, 8 pass breakups, a fumble recovery. He also had a touchdown last year, but he also had 69 tackles. And actually, funny enough, Andrew Van Ginkel's, let me read this out to you guys. His PFF grades this past season were ridiculous. He had a 91.1 overall grade, and his pass rush grade, highest in the NFL, 90.6. And this is why I have loved what the Vikings have done this offseason. They didn't obviously go out there and just pick and choose whatever players they wanted in the draft and free agency, defensively. They fit players who perfectly fit into what Brian Flores' defensive scheme wants to accomplish. And I think that's so key in the NFL and honestly in every sport. Fit matters a whole lot more than we think. that's why a lot of us who, play Madden, play 2K, play video games, and, we go in franchise mode and we play GM and we just think we can pick and choose players and just have it all meshed together and work out perfectly. That's not the case. You have to have players who fit with what the defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator are trying to accomplish. And clearly there was that connect between Kwesi and Brian Flores this offseason. And that's another big reason why I think this Vikings defense is not only going to be top 10 in the league, I think it's going to be a top 5 unit. But you guys let me know. Do you believe in Flo's magic? Will the Vikings have a top 5 defense this upcoming season? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. I know this is big. This is a big ask of that group. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Coming up next, I'm going to be giving you guys my 5 players who need to step up first, the New York Giants. But before we dive into that, I want to give a massive shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Now, Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. So if you guys download Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you just play with $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a lineup of just $5. And the best part of this, you don't even need to win that play to get the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And they actually have a sweet deal going on right now for week 1 of the football season, where one Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on Prize Picks every week in September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss the deal on Prize Picks because it's gone when September ends. So download Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need the win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, so who needs to step up versus the New York Giants? Number 1 for me, probably the most inconsistent player on this football team. I'm going to go Ed Ingram. And a big reason why he needs to step up is just because the Giants have a really good defensive line. Dexter Lawrence is an absolute game wrecker there. But also this, if let's just say the Vikings lose this Sunday and Dexter Lawrence, number 97 on the Giants, is the reason they win, Ed Ingram will be benched if he plays terrible. He was awful in the preseason. His PFF grades were in the 30s. And obviously it's tough for a guy like me to evaluate offensive line play. So I'll kind of just, lean to what PFF has to say about, how an offensive lineman played. But if he plays bad again, he will be benched. And you also remember, Dalton Risner is on IR for the first 4 games. The Vikings are probably waiting for him to step in and possibly take over that right guard spot. But this is a big game for just his career as a whole, and obviously a big game for this Vikings offense that they need out of him. But number 2 for me, I'm going to go the cornerback here, Bryon Murphy Jr. Coming off his, I don't want to say it's his worst year of his NFL career, but definitely a down year. And, I will give the Giants credit. They have a very good receiving group. And, I like their group actually the past couple of years. I felt like they had a bunch of solid 2s and 3s in that unit, but they drafted a true number 1. They drafted Malik Neighbors. Now, everything I've seen from him, he is going to be a true wide receiver 1 in the National Football League. He's super, super explosive. He can take a 5-yard slant and turn it upfield, and he's going to the house. And he's also fantastic in the 50-50 ball situation. So I'm not sure if the Vikings are going to shadow Neighbors with either Gilmore or Bryon Murphy, but Bryon Murphy will be lined up with him at least 4 or 5 times this upcoming weekend. Just hoping he, ends up winning most of those reps. But I got another guard here, Blake Brandel. Excuse me. He is not on the hot seat as much as I think Ed Ingram is, but it just kind of gets me back to this point. The Giants beat the Vikings because Dexter Lawrence. That is the main reason why I think the Giants are going to get a victory. Very similar to, the wild card weekend where, Daniel Jones got all the love because he played great. He was the best player on the field that day. But my opinion, the second best player on the field that day was Dexter Lawrence. Why did Kirk Cousins take a check down on 4th and 8? Because this dude threw Garrett Bradbury out of the way. Cousins panicked, had to check it down right away. So Brandel, Ed Ingram, you got to step up and you got to play some of the best ball of your career this upcoming Sunday. But number 4 for me, the 22-year-old Jordan Addison, as we did get an update earlier today that he is fully expected to be ready to go week 1 versus the New York Giants. And I'm thrilled about that because Addison, heading into this offseason, he was a guy that I thought could have a breakout year where we're talking about the Vikings wide receiver duo as the best in the NFL. And he could dominate week 1 because I'm assuming the Giants' top corner, Deonte Banks, will most likely shadow Jefferson with a lot of safety help over the top. You know, he'll get 2-3 guys on him about every single play. But I think Addison could set himself up to dominate because he's going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities. And we saw it last year, how good number 3 was when Jefferson was in the lineup. He will have a chance to explode week 1. It's obviously just going to come down to 14 Sam Darnold if he's able to get him the football. But if he wins his routes like I expect him to do so, watch out for Addison going for over 100 against the Giants. But last one for me, this is not a guy who necessarily needs to step up because he's a very good football player. But this is a guy where I think Vikings fans are going to be like, man, I forgot we signed Blake Cashman in free agency. Like, I feel like we're going to forget about that, and then he's going to have a couple big plays, and we're going to be like, that was one of the better pickups of the offseason. And it also gets me to this point. The Vikings need to stop the run week 1. The Giants don't have Saquon Barkley anymore. They brought in Devin Singletary, and he's a good running back, but he's not great by any means. He's very actually good in my favorite rushing stat, rushing yards over expected. But, you know, you want Daniel Jones to beat you. I want Daniel Jones to put up the same stat line he did wild card weekend. Force him to do that, and I think the Vikings could find themselves in the victory column this Sunday. But you guys give me a name here. Who are you most excited to watch week 1 versus the New York Giants? I'm going chalk here. I'm going number 18, Justin Jefferson. I've just been fiending to watch Jettas out there on the football field yet again. So hopefully we'll see him gritty in the end zone in MetLife Stadium. But you guys let me know, who are you most excited to watch week 1 versus the New York Giants? Now, if you guys also want to give me a follow on Twitter, that's the handle right there, @PatSieps. If you guys do so, I'll give you guys a follow right back. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.